Okay, this is my gazillionth attempt to publish my final and full review on City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare, which is the fourth volume of the City of Mortal Instruments. And to be honest, I'm just gonna say I was wildly underwhelmed by the fourth volume and really disappointed. To me personally, it literally gave nothing. Um, First off, there were no mortal instruments, so number four was basically kind of like a money grab. I feel like the author was told that she must publish a fourth volume, to make money, and it was like half ass. And I really felt frustrated from the start of volume four because volume three was so rich in information and like movements and changes and you know um from Simon newly being a vampire, but only not only being a vampire but being a daywalker and the only of his kind. And we know this is going to come into play, obviously. And then the battle with Valentine and the resurrection of the angel, and the angel basically telling Valentine, you're not God, I don't know who you think you are, unaliving Valentine. And Valentine had sacrificed Jace, so he unalived Jace, and then Clary brought Jace back to life because she had the right to do so with the angel. And like Clary finding her mom again, and like Sebastian actually being Jonathan. So then we find out, that Jace and Clary are not related. So like volume three, so much is happening. The werewolves are involved, helping out the shadow hunters, yada yada. And to end volume three that way, and then to start volume four with basically Simon. And to me, like the first, I was reading it and I'm like, oh, is this like a flashback of when they were younger? And it's like, no, it's not. Okay, it's not a flashback. It felt like it. And it also felt like a useless flashback, but now it's a useless current time where we learn that the vampires have subs, and we also learn that Simon is spending a lot of money apparently on designer clothing. What use do I have with this information of Simon double, dating two girls at the same time and like buying clothes to impress them and being in a band? Like, they're all things that to me just lacked substance, and it was just useless information. The book is almost 500 pages and you're wasting my goddamn time. We just had the craziest shit happen in the previous book, and you're starting the book with some random shit that's not useless. It's really upsetting, and it just feels uninteresting. You like lost my interest. And I'm like, oh, is it like book number two? Because book number one is good. It's like nostalgic. It's like whatever. It brings you into the world. Book number two started off, but then the other half was like interesting, and there was action and something actually happening, And I was like, okay, book number two ended good. That's why like book number three to me went well and it was really good. And then book number four, I was just so underwhelmed by how boring it was. And then when you think something is going to unfold into something else and it doesn't happen, it's just like, okay. And look, fair enough, writing a book's not easy. So like kudos for writing a book, but like if you're going to half-ass it, just don't do it. Just be like, hey guys, I know you really like the series. I'm going to take some time to really reflect on this one so that I can come back with something good or better. And so yeah, there was like no Mortal Instruments anymore. So like, what's the point of continuing the series? They're alone. You know what I mean? And I just feel I was trying to give it a chance. I was like, okay, Simon's gonna be the main thing of the book. Whatever, it's fine. I don't dislike Simon's character. I like the fact that Jason and Simon are closer now. I'm also like really annoyed by the fact that like there's always a character who's not who they say they are. Like in the previous book it was Sebastian who's actually Jonathan, and now in this book it's like Kyle who's actually Jordan. Maya's Jordan, who bit her accidentally, transformed her, blah blah blah. And the whole wedding thing, I just feel like the whole wedding thing was kind of useless. Just I think it was like, they didn't even get married. I think it was just like the rehearsal or something. But I'm like, this was pointless. This was really pointless. It didn't bring anything to the story, I feel like. And then Camille was introduced, who used to date Magnus. But we don't really get any development on that. And it's like, you have 500 pages of basically nothingness. And like, I thought Camille was really going to be this crazy badass, mean, mafia type vampire. But then she ended up just doing like stuff for Lilith. And then I feel like Lilith is presented as this, but I also feel like the information on Lilith wasn't quite accurate. And I don't know, that's just me. I don't really know that much either, but from what I've read recently, I'm just like, this is kind of a misinterpretation or some shit. Anyways, and also Lilith just came out of nowhere. Kind of out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, like the demon babies that they're trying to do again. And I'm like, it's kind of like a recycled thing. And then what really sent me off the edge was she was trying to revive Sebastian, to give the balance, because Jace was reborn and he was easily possessed by Lilith, to help her try to bring back Sebastian, and like she dies or disappears or whatever. And why does Jace stay there looking at Sebastian's body? And then Sebastian's like, haha, you thought I was dead, but Simon bit me and gave me life, and now I'm forcing you to give you. And then like Sebastian basically come back to life. And I'm glad I had a electronical version of the book, because if I had a physical copy of the book, I would have burnt it. I would have thrown it on the wall. I've been like, this is bullshit. I did not enjoy this at all. It didn't make me want to read book number 5. And I was reading like reviews and stuff, and this one girl wrote in a way that feels like something I would say. And I was just like, God, I'm going to be frustrated again. Book number 5 is slightly better than book number 4, but it's still bad. Why do you do this? It's so frustrating, because I feel very passionate about the idea of this book. I'm like, there's so much potential. There are so many things that could have happened. And it could have been more books too. Like if everything was developed more, it just felt rushed. It felt half-assed. And I like, it's almost 500 pages. And there's no satisfaction also with the Jason Clare situation. Like, can we get some relief? We're on book number 4, and we're not getting any kind of satisfaction when it comes to them being together, not being together. It's just like, can you just please, for the love of God, before I lose complete interest? You know what I mean? It's like book number 1, they're into each other. It's really cute. It sets the tone for romance. Book number 2, no, we can't be together because we might be related. First of all, what the fuck? And then third book, they finally find out that they're not related. They don't immediately rush into each other's arms. And then like book number 4, it's like, no. And it's like, you're annoying.